How are you?
Yes, keep going. Well done. Well done. Abu Dhabi Marathon. Good job, man. You're going
Thank you very
so
much.
well.
Thank you.
You're going so well.
Thank
Nice
you.
and easy, man. It only gets easier after this point.
I'm not sure about that.
Good job, well.
It's 3:30 in the morning, the race is at 6 a.m. I'm having my first meal. As you can see, 2 rice cakes and a banana for a smiley face. I might have another banana like in a couple minutes, but for right now that's it. And I'm gonna also have some Red Bull right now, which is early for a caffeine intake, but it's just to force me to go to the bathroom before the race starts. So that's the way I do it. So I bought my nutritional plan for the race. I have this gel here. I only have one, but I know in the race it's gonna be the same brand. For each one of those, you have 20 grams of carbs and around 400 milligrams of salt. So I'm gonna try to take around 2 of those per hour. And of course, there's going to be hydration stations in the race, but I'm gonna carry a bottle with me. And within that bottle, I'm gonna put 3 scoops of this for a total of 58 grams of carbs and around 900 milligrams of salt. So my target for the race is a minimum of 40 to 60 grams of carbs per hour and around 700 milligrams of salt per hour. But I might have to adjust this by feel, so let's see how it goes. So the race started with a cool weather and it remained like this for the whole race, even though of course the temperature was rising a little bit on the second half of the race, but this was definitely not a limiting factor to my performance. But one thing that got me surprised was the amount of people doing the full marathon or even the marathon in relays, which means you have your running partner. So let's say you start the first half of the marathon and as soon as you finish, your partner takes over, completing the whole race. And this amount of runners made the whole racing atmosphere really great. And at the very beginning, because everybody's screaming and like supporting each other, you don't even feel that you are running. Like you have to actually pay attention to your pace because you are so excited that when you look at the watch, you're like running way faster than you should, and then you practice. So that's something that I definitely learned with some experience from previous races. So every time on the very beginning of a race, you have to be really aware of your pace because it's easy to get overexcited. Now about my performance. For 25 to 27 kilometers, I was feeling great, like I could run forever, keeping a steady pace and my heart rate low. But as soon as I passed the 28, 29 kilometers mark, I started to hit a wall. That's when I started to feel my quads cramping. So I decided to push until 30 kilometers because in the previous races, I also hit the wall at around 27 kilometers mark. So I was like, okay, I know what's coming, which is cramps on my quads, but now I want to push a little bit over the previous time. So instead of 27 kilometers, I want to run until 30, and then I know I'm gonna have to survive after that. So that's what I did. I pushed into the 30 kilometers mark, and after that was a downhill. I started to walk at exactly the 30 kilometers mark. And to be honest, I was not able to go back at actual running for the remaining of the race. So I basically walked the last 12 kilometers. At one point, I believe it was at the 36K mark, the cramps were so bad that I just passed an ambulance just walking by. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep pushing. But as soon as I passed the ambulance, my quads completely gave up. I had to stop and sit on the floor. I actually sat on the floor and like I was thinking, I don't know if I can finish this race because I'm gonna walk for at least another 2 hours. So I actually started walking on the opposite direction, going back to the ambulance because I was about to give up. After a couple meters, I was like, you know what? I'm here already. Even if I have to finish this like 2 hours walking, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna give up now. I signed for this race, not because I wanted to PR. My main goal was to finish the race. So even if I had to walk for 2 hours in pain and suffering and like with crazy cramps on my quads, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I did. So after a long and painful walk, I was finally able to finish the race. And as you can see here, I have my finisher medal. And again, that was the goal that I set for this race and I accomplished it. But also after this performance, I decided that on my next race, I'm only going to sign up if I feel 100% ready to actually race and not just survive throughout like 2 hours or 3 hours of cramping. So I will design a proper training program and I'm gonna post my workouts here on YouTube. So make sure to subscribe and follow along.